beginning of the year. We usually have a lot of intense energy in January with all of our goals and resolutions. We can remember to slow down a little bit. It is now 3:30 p.m. The sun is about to set. December was really busy for me, but I felt very productive, yet like I held boundaries. I was working on my perfectionism. That is the reason why I didn't come up with the last December daily, because as I was going on my upstate trip, I realized I'm exhausted. I don't feel like it. I'm not gonna put on my vlogger hat. I'm just going to enjoy my time here. If you want to go to this cute little cabin in upstate New York, I will link it for you. There is a man yelling and booing on the street. I don't know if you hear it. Just pretend that it's like nature sounds. The sounds of Brooklyn. And so, kicking off the notes I wanted to share with you today, let's first acknowledge the elephant on the screen, which is the new channel name. I have fully embraced Piper as my creative stage name. You can call it a moniker, a pen name, an alter ego. The only reason why I made my channel name my legal name is because a few years back I had an agency represent me when I first moved to New York, and they said in their professional opinion that my legal name is better for brands and it would be more appealing in a commercial sense. And because that's not the priority right now for my career, I'm just like, okay, boom. It also sounds like Life of Pi. So in a funny, melodramatic twist, it's also like, haha, Life of Piper. It's easier to remember, frankly. A lot of my old friends still misspell Pepper Blue, so I'm just like, okay, the searchability of it might be easier. I feel like my perfectionism has been creeping back, which I noticed when I've been really craving a lot of like coping mechanisms of constantly having a podcast playing, or in the craving to always be productive or busy. I realized that it is a sign that you are avoiding something. I'm gonna see what it is I'm trying to run away from, what I'm coping with, and a lot of the times it's kind of just like really harsh inner critic feelings and thoughts that overwhelm me. When I was having a work meeting with my sister last week, she had shared this as I expressed to her I was pretty stressed out about all of these new goals, making me feel like, wow, I'm so excited yet overwhelmed to get started on our Q1 goals and the next 6 months. I'm just like, like, what do I do? It was a key moment when she said to me, I think it's unfair to look far into the future if you don't look as equally far into the past. And that is a very cool way to contemplate your goals and recognize what is important and realistic when goal setting. If I am so focused on what I haven't achieved yet that it creates a sense of dissatisfaction, and it makes me almost like take a lot of my effort for granted and like how far I've come. I'm looking forward to my goals, and I look back at my goals a year ago and look at the sunshine, golden hour, and realizing, wow, I did achieve so much. And that inspired me to make this reel. And it was very heartfelt to also take a moment and celebrate that I did publish 23 videos last year while doing all of these things, and just realizing how much I am juggling as one person. That like the validation I was really seeking is just from myself at the end of the day. And it brings me back to neutrality, that I don't need to feel like I'm go, go, go because I have misconstrued productivity and busyness with a sense of being good and being good enough. When I forgot my AirPods at home one day, I was like, oh no, I don't have anything to like drown out the noise. I was like, this is a good thing. Like, I don't like to feel dependent on needing something to like push away and keep the thoughts at bay or something like that. Like, that's not really my value. I'm still wondering, like, at what point can I look forward with goals and encourage myself to work towards that without it feeling like everything that I've achieved so far is then like down there. That's something that I haven't completely figured out, and I guess I don't have to have all the answers just to talk about it with you. Something else that I've noticed is that compared to the years before, when I've been having a harder time or like going through heartbreak, is that like I've normalized talking a lot about crises and all of the tough stuff that I'm dealing with, I don't know how to talk about happy stuff anymore. Like, that's gonna change. I want to share all of like the happiness with you and hopefully inspire you to celebrate yourself as well. And one of those things is that recently my friend John was like, "What have you been up to?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't have anything super entertaining to say other than I've just been working away, chipping away, and then I've been doing a lot of my adulting things and actually getting good at it." So some small things that I'm celebrating is that I've been great at answering my emails. I have been sleeping much better. I have been really good about meal planning. And when I've been living on my own for many years, and it's really easy to just skip a meal. Like, no one is really keeping you accountable. And it's also easy to snack and have girl dinner, but I've really made it a point for myself to like get myself together in this way in the last few months, because I don't have that much disposable income when I'm prioritizing my business. So eating out, like forgetting to meal plan and just like, whatever, I can just get this on DoorDash. It's really easy to neglect yourself in those little ways because it doesn't affect anybody but you. But I would challenge us all to realize that you can't really show up to be your best self at work, in your creativity, or with your friends if you're not taking care of yourself. So that is definitely the biggest priority. And I think the reason why I never wanted to prioritize that is because I really prioritized external validation in the past, and doing all of these things like sleeping enough and eating enough and working out regularly. Only I really get the benefits, like the firsthand benefits, and I don't get like, what do you want, applause or something? No. But it's only when I realize, wow, I feel good. Like, I don't feel like shit every day. That is like the true award. I would tell my past self this important advice. It's like the Holy Trinity: sleep, food, and working out. Whenever I feel stressed out or a little bit unhappy or just anything, I look back at these three things and I'm thinking, are all those three things happening? If one of them or two of them are being neglected, before you start to jump to anything that's more, seems like a problem to attack, first have these basic needs handled. A lot of those other mental challenges don't seem as daunting. I wanted to close off this video with sharing my favorite resources from last year, and it's gonna be brief, but I look back to last year, there were a lot of things I liked, but I'm not gonna go through it all now. But if I could leave you with one or two things, my favorite podcast of last year, period, was the Mel Robbins podcast. And my favorite book from last year was The Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. I've recommended Mel to so many people. Her tagline is, "I believe in you and your ability to create a better life for yourself." I really like that she breaks down a lot of concepts that they talk about into applicable, like, here are some action items. And I think that she single-handedly, just through her personality and her words of motivation, got me through the loneliest, hardest period of my breakup last year. Every morning when I commuted to work, I would listen to her, and it would kind of prime me to show up at work and put myself first at a time where I felt very heartbroken. I also have another couple great heartbreak podcasts that was so good that I will also link below for anyone you know, or if you yourself are going through a hard time. Jillian on Love, Breakup Boot Camp, and How to Heal Your Heart or something like that. Those are also really great podcasts. So that is kind of like my number one favorite thing to consume right now, more than books, because I can do that while I'm on the subway or while I'm painting, which is why I've kind of been inspired to like do a pseudo podcast and chat more with you. The Ego is the Enemy is written by somebody who used to be a part of American Apparel before they got bought out or like went bankrupt, and talks about how the ego can be your greatest downfall or your own undoing when you're dealing with success in a high achieving life. I remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. And the takeaway quote is, "The ego is the enemy and the obstacle is the way." The Obstacle is the Way is actually another book published by the same author that I haven't read yet. But I really love feeling like you're always at a growth mindset to improve your own life, but also realize like why you're doing it. And I catch myself all the time now realizing that I come from ego a lot when I do things, and the ego is a normal part of your personhood, and it's an essential part of your survival. But there are many pitfalls to operating always from the place of ego. And at the end of the day, I feel like if you need a selfish reason, you don't try to manage your ego for others, you do it for yourself. Because when I have kind of like been more zen, I don't know how else to say it, and I feel like I've tamed my ego, I have never felt more happy and light. So it's honestly for yourself more than like how much it will benefit those around you, but also it is to benefit those around you, and so you can give more. But people also give because that's like one of the best ways to feel happy and fulfilled. Anyway, that is my notes for you today. Share with me your favorite book or podcast that has improved your life last year so that we can all read it in the comments and get inspired. And I'm gonna steal Mel Robbins' slogan real quick. I believe in you and your ability to create a better life for yourself just as much as I want to believe in me and my ability to create a better life for myself. I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye. I love listening to Billie Eilish when I do my makeup for some reason. Hi, welcome in. Hey, how are you? And I also wanted to increase. Hi, welcome. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad.